We were interested in this project because of the cultural and social significance of the building. We saw an opportunity for architecture that has a positive impact on quality of life, both in the way the building is experienced and in a wider sense by expressing and celebrating the identity and unity of the district. When we met with all the municipal staff, we saw the work they're doing and how they engage with the public, and our aim was to accommodate and encourage this relationship in the way that we bring the community into the building. Although we have a modest budget, architecture can happen in any place, at any scale and any budget, and in civic buildings especially, we must make sure that we make the most of the design opportunities. One of the key messages we heard was that the building should be welcoming. It should be like home. We made the South Shore our home, and coming to Argyll, we found that we shared a lot in common and had a similar outlook. However, through our research, we found out how distinctive the district really is. We visited the archives in Tuscot. We travelled all over, from Lower West Pubnico all the way down to Morris Island, Surette's Island and down to Wedgeport. We talked to people, we listened to their thoughts, and we absorbed as much as we could about the place, the sights, the sounds and even the tastes. Everywhere we saw a great spirit, and that made us resolute that we would somehow express something that's local and unifying, rooted in tradition, but with some contemporary expression. We also did a lot of research into how the municipality operates, and especially how it interacts with the public. The most significant design driver behind the project was accessibility, and not just making a barrier-free path, but we focused on making this building very legible so that there's one primary point of contact and you can orientate yourself and access all the services and all the spaces from one lobby. It's also accessible in that it's a building that the public can occupy. We know that great things happen when municipal staff and the community work together, so we've created a zone with several wall display areas, access to the Community Development Office, a long counter shared with recreation and taxation, a small meeting room for private tax conversations, and there's a larger meeting room. For less formal interactions, you might grab a coffee and sit overlooking the entrance courtyard in this flexible, bright seating area that can also host temporary exhibitions. The Great Hall and the kitchen are separated from the workspace so they can be available for community uses, as well as accommodating council sessions and staff breaks. These decisions were informed by the community input session in September, and it reinforced our own dislike for spaces that are only used intermittently or for only one purpose. Efficiency is the other key design driver. We analysed what staff need to do their job, and we agreed on the principle that each person needs about the same personal space, regardless of their position or job description. So instead of creating offices that are large enough to have small meetings in, each person has just enough space for their own workstation, with natural light, and then we create other spaces for collaboration. The central spine is where all the shared resources are, including the library, which is a space where anyone can choose to work, or larger groups can get together and share resources and ideas. And there's the kitchen. It's large enough to have gatherings and also probably a great spot to sit and work. Aside from accessibility and efficient use of resources, the community were clear that this should be a building that they can be proud of. And it was clear that most people related strongly to traditional forms and wanted the municipal building to reflect the local built heritage. When you see the shape of our building mass compared with the Tuscot courthouse, you understand what a challenge that is. We live in a different age with different technological, economical, social, and environmental constraints. And to properly serve its purpose, the building has to be this size and shape. So our strategy is to break up this mass with gable-end roofs that run from front to back, creating rows for our solar collectors. In between, we have low-sloped membrane roofs which are designed to perform under the snow load and drain to the edges. We put a similar roof over the kitchen and infilled here to create volume in the lobby and bring in natural light. Next, we take one roof and cut into it diagonally, creating a dynamic canopy over the entrance. This, together with the Great Hall, will frame the view of the entrance courtyard. The roof has to span 32 feet, so a similar 12-12 roof will look out of proportion with the human-scaled gable forms that we have. A hipped roof helps to disguise this difference, but its form doesn't really lend itself to this situation. We needed to design a roof over the Great Hall that would fit proportionately and express some strong reference to the district. The space where council conducts business has significance in our democracy, and you often see this indicated by formal authoritarian symbols, like those you might see in a courtroom. We indicate the significance and identity of the Great Hall by having an expressive form that's inspired by waves and boats. On the inside, this is experienced by the resulting space and light. The vaulting wood ceilings are like overlapping hulls, and between them are glimpses of the sky and the stars. This creates an uplifting experience that's memorable without being intimidating, and it gives the building a distinctive identity. The relative cost of making this kind of expression is small in comparison to many of the decisions that we make that nobody ever sees. It would be a bad investment to build a civic building that doesn't seek to excite and intrigue. We have the opportunity to create something that's unique and inspired by the district, and we know the impact that contemporary architecture has on perceptions of a place because we've seen it. This building's not only for the present, it's for the future, and a building that celebrates the past and the present also speaks of the confidence that we have in the future of this place.